How's it going, Fins fans? It's your boy Dillon again, and I'm back with another episode of my Miami Dolphins podcast. Uh, let's see. So it's the off season. That part where it's kind of dead, not a whole lot going on. So a lot of the stuff that's being talked about right now is either beating a dead horse or uh, it's just kind of, hey, what can we talk about? So a lot of these writers and stuff, they're just kind of finding stuff, to talk about or creating things, So it's just I don't know, I guess to kind of keep us engaged. So I have some stuff. Most of it's like that, but there's some interesting articles to go over. So we'll go ahead and start getting right into that. Let's see. The first one is an article by Bleacher Report, and it's basically, it's entitled "Every Team's Latest Buzz Going into Training Camp," which training camp is obviously right around the corner. Starting, let's see, today's the 16th. Oh, that means rookies are getting ready to report for us. I believe the 18th, so Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken, and then I believe it's the 25th. I believe. I'd have to check my dates. Feel free to correct me. But I believe it's the 25th that the veterans come in, and then we are into training camp, ladies and gentlemen, and preseason games are right around the corner. Anyway, getting to this article. So, for the Miami Dolphins, here's what they said the biggest buzz going into training camp is. And, excuse me, if you've seen my other videos, I've actually already talked about this a little bit. And it's really just, this goes to show you how little there really is to talk about at this particular point in the offseason. Excuse me. When training camp opens, the Miami Dolphins should expect a few of their players to report close to playing shape. While plenty of NFLers have surely been enjoying their off time following OTAs, Frank Gore, Albert Wilson, Devon Godshaw, Charles Harris, and Isaac Asiata have been hard at work. Gore, the 14th-year veteran who signed this offseason, has been particularly impressive. What's most amazing is he has such a hard, strong work ethic, trainer Joe Farah said, per Barry Jackson of the Miami Herald. He's not going half speed ever. He motivates the other guys if they half-ass a rep. He's a good team guy. The team-first attitude and work ethic is precisely why the Dolphins were eager to add Gore in the offseason. Which is very true, and it's obviously encouraging to see a bunch of our guys, working out, already and whatever and so on and so forth. But I mean, most of these guys are, pretty much all of them are, frankly. I mean, if you're being realistic about it, they're all, they might be off, wherever they call home, wherever, especially the rookies and stuff, wherever their home is, spending time with family or their kids, whatever. And I'm sure they do stuff, that's not football related and whatnot, of course. But they're all working out. I mean, they're professional athletes, and it's, I mean, that's just part of their life, right? At this point, is working out, and it's so deeply ingrained in them since they were little kids that they don't stop. They don't stop. But anyway, it is good though to see that a bunch of guys are in Florida working out together, doing stuff, and I'm excited for training camp, man. I can't wait for it to come. I have been like pumped up, I guess you could say, is the way to describe it. I have been like out of my mind, just like I am hanging on the edge of my seat. Are you ready? Are you ready for this? Are you hanging on the edge of your seat? Nah, right? Yeah, that's me. I've been hanging on the edge of my fucking seat waiting for training camp and some real shit to happen. Because I know I'm getting like hella off topic here, but I have this little playlist I made of Miami Dolphins hype videos, and I've just been like looping the shit out of it and just playing the hell out of it, playing the hell out of it, playing the hell out of it. It's funny. It's probably a little neurotic, but that just goes to show you how pumped up I am for this next season. And I've been loving, like, I welcome every time I get an alert or something, or see something about how, like, somebody's talking shit about us. I love it, man. I'm soaking it up. I'm soaking it up because I know that everything's gonna come together this year. Like, I feel it. I feel it down deep inside, into my bones, people, into my bones. And I can feel it that we are gonna have a phenomenal year. Tannehill's gonna completely break out. He's gonna prove to be elite. Our offensive line is going to perform far better than it has in a long time. I mean, the weapons from running backs to tight ends to receivers, man, the ball's going to be going all over the place. We're going to be super unpredictable. We're going to be explosive, and people aren't just, they're not going to be able to keep up with us. And our defense is just going to be locked down, shut down, run, pass, it doesn't matter. Get the fuck out of here. You can't do shit on us. I'm telling you, people, I'm telling you, it's going to be historic. It is going to be amazing. We are going to be, and it's going to be the start to the dynasty, to the new dynasty. Anyway, allow me to get back on topic. Alright, next article. Next article comes from, this is interesting, thegruelingtruth.net. Interesting. And it is Miami Dolphins 5 training camp position battles to watch for. The dog days of summertime are officially here, Dolphins fans. We had the World Cup to pay attention to, which was great, but that is coming to an end soon. However, it is almost time for training camp, and as a Dolphins fan, I cannot remember a year where there were more intriguing camp battles than this year. Let's take a look at the 5 most intriguing camp battles. So this is according to them. The backup quarterback position, David Fales versus Brock Osweiler. For me, all eyes are on Brock Osweiler. There's no denying the fact that Brock has made a fool of himself since leaving Denver for the Houston Texans. The experiment did not work in Houston, nor did it work in Cleveland or in Denver once more. It feels like Miami has given him his last shot, and the real question is, can our quarterback whisperer, Adam Gase, garner any more magic out of Brock? Prediction, Brock Osweiler falls apart and Fales wins the job. I totally agree. I mean, there's just so much to indicate. All indications are that David Fales, and I think he's going to get it. I mean, hands down, no questions asked. Bryce Petty's gone. He sucks. And Brock, I mean, sorry, man. I read an article, too, the other day that said some shit about fucking, they thought it was going to be, this was ridiculous. They thought it was going to be Ryan Tannehill, of course, but then Brock Osweiler backing up Tannehill with David Fales on the practice squad. And apparently, I want to say it was an ESPN, too. I want to say it was an ESPN article. Anyway, point is, they failed to realize David Fales is no longer eligible for practice squad. That's why we didn't keep him around last year, and he got cut. Adam Gase loves him. He's a smart kid with a lot of talent and a lot of potential. He's been with Gase for a while now. He knows the system really well, and I think personally, I love Matty Moore, but I think he's a younger, slightly better and more athletic version of Matt Moore. So we'll see. Anyway, I agree with their assessment though here. That other article is just fucking crazy. Number 2, the 6th wide receiver position, Leonte Carroo versus Isaiah Ford. Carroo has done nothing but disappoint since becoming a Miami Dolphin. He was selected as a 3rd-round pick and only has 10 receptions, totaling less than 100 yards. He does have a touchdown, which was a pretty impressive touchdown. It was moderately impressive. Anyway, he has been a disappointment. However, being a former 3rd-round pick, the team is going to do all they can to see if he can put it all together. Isaiah Ford, a 7th-round selection, showed a lot of promise before coming down with a knee injury last year. Prediction, Ford runs Carroo off the field, earns a roster spot, and the Dolphins cut Carroo. I agree with that. I think they're probably going to find it, because we have so much so much depth and potential in the wide receiver room. That's why everybody making a big deal about Landry going is not that big a deal. It suits Adam Gase a lot better to not target one dude and be so versatile and unpredictable. You're throwing it all over the place, and you know, I mean, it's just crazy. Like, he's not needed. Plus, the running backs and tight ends are going to be huge factors this year. It's just, anyway. But I think Caru's kind of, you know, he's kind of over his time. It sucks we moved up to get him. I know, I get it. Blah, blah, blah. But shit happens. I actually think the past few drafts with Tannenbaum, Greer, and Gase, the past 3 years have been some of our best in a long time. And, you know, this year I think is going to prove that, because, you know, this year all these young guys, our team is super young, man. That's why, like, and another thing is people give a shit for bringing in these old guys like Sitton and Gore and Kilgore and fucking whatever the fuck. But we need some veteran leadership. We need some veteran presence. Our team is super young because what has happened, most of the guys that are there are the fucking guys that we've drafted over the past few years, which is how you're supposed to do it. That's why I don't understand why people are giving them so much shit, you know, for the way things have been going, like, and saying that Adam Gase is on the hot seat and the front office sucks and isn't doing their job, or blah, 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 blah. It's crazy, dude. If you actually look at what's going on and what they're actually trying to do for the here and the future, the now and the future, dude, it all just makes sense. You actually have to take your time, look at it objectively, you know, and do the research, see what's going on, hear what the coaches and the front office are saying, what the players are saying, you know, and put it together, you know. Anyway, I'm getting a little ranty today. Alright, next one. The tight end position. Mike Gesicki versus insert your name here. Or insert name here. So, any of the other tight ends. This seems like Mike Gesicki will be the starting tight end with not much competition. However, I do look forward to seeing what else the team has in store at the tight end position. How much does the team expect to use Durham Smythe, 2018 draft pick out of Notre Dame? The organization acquired A.J. Derby last season, but the question is, how does he fit in with the roster? Personally, I have always liked Marquise Gray. I believe he adds a unique skill set to the team and he could be used in certain situations. Prediction: Gesicki is the starting tight end, Smythe becomes Anthony Fasano 2.0, and Gray makes at least 3 big plays throughout the year. That was actually rather specific, but I think they're right. I think Gesicki ultimately is going to be the, you know, I think he's going to be our Gronk. I really do. I think he's going to be that major threat. I mean, if you look at his tape, if you watch his college tape, he's big. He's, you know, physical. He high points the ball. He goes up and gets that bitch. You know, a lot of the shit that fucking... There was some big plays that could be had from Julius Thomas last year, but he seemed so lazy, so lackadaisical. He didn't try. You know, he was known for going up and high pointing the ball, grabbing the ball earlier, in his career, and that's why he had like 24 touchdowns when he was in Denver over 2 years. Because he was physical, he went up and got it. I know he had some injuries and stuff in Jacksonville, and maybe he's just, you know, he just wasn't the same afterwards. We see that happen to athletes. But Gesicki, you know, at least for now, hopefully, you know, whatever you got to do, pray to God, knock on wood, whatever it is, you know, hopefully the kid stays healthy and, you know, for his entire career and does, you know, be productive, does get to that level of, you know, productivity that, like, you know, Gronk's at, man, because I think he, you know, if he can be healthy, if he can stay healthy, he's going to be that for us. And then, yeah, I think Smythe is going to be Fasano 2.0, which Fasano's got better hands than people, you know, always said, especially earlier in his career. But, you know, he's definitely going to be Fasano 2.0, which, you know, Smythe even said that's who he looks up to. Gray's going to be there. I mean, if you've seen my videos, you know I think Gray and Derby are going to be the other 2 tight ends. Yeah, and, I mean, that's a nice stable of tight ends right there. They're going to be nasty. Versatile. Alright, number 4, the defensive tackle position. Devon Godshaw versus Jordan Phillips. Jordan Phillips has to be one of the 3 most frustrating players on our roster. He has so much talent, yet has not put it all together. If he can find it in him to consistently put forth 110% effort, the sky is the limit for this kid. Then there is Godshaw. In 2017, he came out of nowhere to make himself a household name. Can we expect another jump from him in year 2? I understand Akeem Spence will get time as well, but the battle between these two will be fascinating to see who can get the edge on the other one and be on the field more. Prediction, a toss-up. So, couple things. First of all, Jordan Phillips did quite well for us last year. He definitely stepped up his game and definitely stepped up his consistency. And I think he will again this year. Same thing with Godshaw. He did. So I kind of disagree with them with how they view Phillips. But I do agree with them with Godshaw. I mean, he had a really solid rookie season. I think he is going to take a step up. Akeem Spence is absolutely going to get time in there. So will Vincent Taylor. I mean, we know that the defensive line is going to be a rotation. So no matter what, that's going to be a toss-up because there's not really going to be, starters. There's going to be, on paper, starters and then a bunch of dudes going in. Number 5, the linebacker position. Jerome Baker versus Stephon Anthony versus Mike Hull. This position battle is the most vital. For years, the Dolphins have been too slow at this position. With the drafting of Jerome Baker, I hope we can finally put that to bed. This can absolutely fly, but is he big enough? Can he withstand the punishment of an entire NFL season? The Dolphins, Stephon Anthony last season, and with a full offseason... The Dolphins acquired Stephon Anthony last season. They missed a couple words in the sentence. And with a full offseason under his belt, can become a contributing factor for the defense. Mike Hull is the epitome of a try-hard guy. He works his tail off, but has always seemed to just not be good enough. I include him in this group because he is good enough to be in the mix, but as a fan, I'm hoping one of the other two rises to the top. Prediction: along with Raekwon McMillan and Kiko Alonso, Jerome Baker wins the starting job. Ultimately, I think that's probably true, but I do think Stephon Anthony is going to end up being a pretty impactful player in that linebacking unit. I think, because I think that it's pretty likely, we'll see 4 and 5 linebackers get playing time this year regularly, so... And I personally think behind Kiko, McMillan, and Baker, it's going to be Stephon Anthony and Chase Allen. So we'll see what happens. Okay. Fabulous. Let's see. Okay, next one is an article by Bleacher Report, another Bleacher Report article, ranking the Dolphins' 2017 draft haul 1 year later. Well, they ranked all the teams. So here, we'll go through them. They actually said that the New England Patriots were number 32. They had the worst draft from 2017 as of right now. Interesting. Then it goes Broncos at 31. Oakland, 30. 29, Atlanta. 28, Baltimore. 27, us. So this is what they had to say. Picks: Charles Harris, Raekwon McMillan, Cordray Tankersley, Isaac Asiata, Devon Godshaw, Vincent Taylor, and Isaiah Ford. Total starts 18, top performer Tankersley. Cornerback Cordray Tankersley took advantage of Byron Maxwell's exit. He didn't log an interception but found ways to break up passes and coverage. Defensive tackle Devon Godshaw was the only other rookie in this class to take significant snaps. Both could hold big roles in the upcoming season. Nonetheless, Tankersley faces competition for a spot. Bobby McCain and Tony Lippett also took reps on the boundary through mandatory minicamp. Defensive tackle Ndamukong Suh's departure means more snaps for Godshaw and Vincent Taylor in the upcoming season. Defensive end Charles Harris only logged 2 sacks, and he'll likely find himself in a rotational role behind Robert Quinn and Cameron Wake. Linebacker Raekwon McMillan, who's primed to start at middle linebacker, brings tremendous upside as a physical playmaker and will fill a void at the heart of the defense. There's potential, but 2 of the top 3 picks may not start in 2018. Alright, so I understand why they wouldn't put us up like in the top 10 and shit like that for them yet, obviously, but I think we probably deserved a little bit higher than 27. You know, whatever. But I think overall, this group is going to prove very productive. I think Charles Harris, he obviously is going to be in a rotation with the other guys, just like everybody else on the D-line, but he's going to have a breakout year, I think. And he is going to be the heir apparent, or he is the heir apparent to Cameron Wake. He's going to be taking over for him in the next, couple years, or whenever Wake decides to finally hang it up. I think, we lost McMillan last year to injury, so obviously there's that. So obviously his production was just non-existent, and that's probably, that obviously has something to do with why we're 27. But I think he's going to be, the middle linebacker that we've been missing. Tankersley's going to be fucking great on that outside boundary opposite Howard. But, corners are all going to, there's going to be a few corners, and Bobby McCain is going to be our nickel corner. He's going to be. Flat out. I'm not saying he won't take any snaps on the boundary, but he's going to be the nickel corner. Isaac Asiata, hopefully he can step it up, man, because we do need some more young. Well, he's actually a little bit older. He was an old rookie, but we do need some guys in that interior defensive or offensive line to develop. Devon Godshaw did great last year, and I think he's going to take a step forward. Vincent Taylor did pretty damn good. He blocked a couple kicks last year, so hopefully he'll continue to grow and do some shit. And Isaiah Ford was lost last year for the season by tearing his meniscus, so he'll be coming back, and I think he's going to be on the roster. I think he's going to probably get some playing time like Carew, but I think he'll take more advantage of it and show that he deserves to be around in the rotation. Alright, that's all for that one. Let's see, where the next one is an article about Godshaw by Dolphins Wire. Sophomore Dolphins profile, defensive tackle Devon Godshaw. For anyone who has been even remotely following the Miami Dolphins this offseason, you have certainly been aware of the void at the defensive tackle position left by the five-time Pro Bowler and Ndamukong Suh's departure. With the Dolphins coaching staff declaring that they will be better on the D-line in 2018 as far back as May, according to our own Antoine Staley, a big key to that prophecy coming true is the performance of second-year man Devon Godshaw. Real quick, so not only is, I think that Phillips, Godshaw, Taylor and all them, are going to take step forwards in their development, but it's going to be a rotation. They're going to be fresh, man. That's part of it, is that they want to keep our D-line fresh so that all of them are always attacking. It's not, and they don't want, one guy to have 800 snaps. That's crazy, Good on Suh for being able to do it. That's what he loves. That's what he prides himself on, but that's not how, our defense, the coaching staff wants to run our defense. Even as a 2017 fifth-round pick sitting in the shadow of Suh, the 6'3", 305-pound Godshaw played 15 games while starting in 5 of them. The former LSU Tiger also recorded a pass defended as well as a forced fumble. He debuted with a pair of tackles in the Dolphins' 19-17 nail-biter Week 2 victory over the Chargers. His batted pass came against Raiders quarterback David Carr, and the forced fumble set up the first Fins points of the 16-10 win over the Tennessee Titans. Despite being inactive in the first game of last season, Godshaw was ranked third in combined tackles among 2017 NFL rookie defensive linemen with 40 posted. The two ahead of him are first and second round selections in 49ers Solomon Thomas with 41, who was a first round pick and only got one more than him, and Godshaw was a fifth round, and the Giants 16-game starter Dalvin Tomlinson with 50. So he only had 10 more, but he was, a few rounds ahead of Godshaw. Even dating back to his LSU days, Godshaw was a force as a 3-year starter, chalking up 145 combined tackles, 12.5 sacks, 2 passes defended, and 2 forced fumbles on 34 starts in 37 games. Most interesting was during his final game as an LSU Tiger. During the Buffalo Wild Wings Citrus Bowl for the 2016 season, Davon Godchaux posted 3 tackles, including a sack against that year's Heisman Trophy winner, Louisville's Lamar Jackson, who is now suiting up for the Baltimore Ravens after being drafted late in the first round in the 2018 NFL Draft. With Godchaux's production rate in his first campaign of action, it's not hard for one to see why he's one of the front runners competing to play in the middle of the Dolphins' front 7. Despite the influx of youth at the position, Edgemen Cameron Wake and former Los Angeles Ram Robert Quinn are in place to provide the support outside needed to give Godchaux and company the chance to break out if they can rise to the challenge. Dude, they're going to be nasty. Watch. I'm telling you. Alright, moving on. That's that. Boom, boom, boom. That was by Dolphins Wire. Moving on. Okay, we have an article here by the Daily Dolphin, and it's "Don't typecast Jakeem Grant as only a track guy in cleats." Yeah, dude, he's special, and I'm telling you. So this is basically their profile and their write-up on him. Jakeem Grant, 5'7", 169 pounds, from Texas Tech, age 25, entering 3rd season, all with Dolphins. Drafted by Dolphins in the 6th round in 2016. He's going to make $665,095 in 2018, with contract to expire after 2019. Pro Football Focus rank, unranked. In 2017, his stats: returned 25 punts for 7.6 average, returned 31 kickoffs for 22.8 average, caught 13 passes for 203 yards, 15.6 average, and 2 touchdowns. Notable moments: recorded first career reception versus Jets in September, had 2 good days versus the Patriots, averaging 24.3 yards on kickoff returns in the first meeting, then scoring his first career touchdown on a 25-yard catch in the rematch. Caught 4 passes for 107 yards and a touchdown at KC. Straight talk. After a rookie season in which Grant didn't catch a pass, it was tempting to wonder if the blazing speed he possesses was just a tease, if he was more suited to running on a track than a football field. Doubly so because of his size. And then something special happened just before halftime at Kansas City. Grant caught a screen pass from Jay Cutler. Oop, I'm spitting. Excuse me. Grant was quickly surrounded by 3 Chiefs, which actually was at the least of his concerns. Bearing down on the smallest Dolphin from 2 yards away was a 4th defender, safety Ron Parker, who's 6 feet and 206. No problem. Grant lowered his shoulder and ran through Parker. Only after having showed off power we didn't know he had, Grant then accelerated into high gear, cruising the final 40 yards for a 65-yard score. Didn't think I was going to run him over, but I ended up doing it, Grant said. But when he fell off, it was easy running. Keep in mind that also in December, Grant went up over former Patriots Super Bowl hero Malcolm Butler, who's 5'11", for his 25-yard touchdown. "I just made a great play," said Grant, who's never short on confidence. "I used my ability, which people don't know. Being a short guy, I can jump. I can dunk a basketball. Bottom line, I'm just a big guy stuck in a little guy's body." Prospects for 18. It would be crazy to say everything from here on will be easy for Grant. It's premature to say he has arrived in this league, but it's not jumping the gun to say now that Jarvis Landry is gone and the receiving corps is being reconfigured, Grant will have more opportunities than ever to show what a little seasoning can do. Jakeem got some opportunities this year and made the most of them, Coach Adam Gase said. "We had high expectations going in, especially after training camp, that we felt like there was going to be a little bit of a jump there." Interestingly, Gase said Grant lost a little juice around mid-season after getting beat up on returns, which makes his late-season performances even more meaningful. With Landry in Cleveland and Kenyon Drake the starting running back, Grant will be heavily relied upon as a return man, but he wants to make one thing clear. "I'm a receiver before I'm a return specialist," he said. Hey man, I think Grant is that 4th or 5th receiver, depending on how you want to stack up the depth chart, but I think he is absolutely going to get time and have a significant, impact, influence, and role in this offense. Okay, moving on. Real quick, this is kind of a league-wide thing. This is a report that came in. It's by Bleacher Report. Packers financial records reveal each NFL team earned $255 million revenue sharing this past year. Interesting. NFL teams reportedly each brought home $255 million via revenue sharing during the 2017 season. Darren Rovell of ESPN.com reported the news, citing financial records from the Green Bay Packers, which is a public company because it sells shares. The NFL as a whole passed out more than $8 billion in national revenue, an increase of 4.9%, thanks largely to its television deals. The increase in national revenue goes against the narrative that the NFL faced a significant popularity problem in the wake of controversies surrounding the national anthem. Rovell noted Packers president Mark Murphy said any fallout from the anthem issue didn't impact the financial books. No. And any owner or whatever that says that is full of shit. Absolutely full of shit, dude. The fucking, the anthem policy, you know, I mean, it's all out of fear of Trump and, you know. Anyway, I don't want to get into that right now. We'll get back to that more later, I'm sure. Players protesting police brutality and racial injustice by kneeling during the national anthem was a major talking point around the NFL during the 2017 season, even though former San Francisco 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick was the first to do so in 2016. President Donald Trump went as far as to say during a rally NFL owners should get that son of a bitch off the field right now when discussing protesting players, which sparked additional protests across the league. The NFL proposed a new national anthem policy this offseason, saying players have the choice to stay in the locker room during the anthem, but must stand if they come out. The NFL Players Association filed a grievance against the policy. Despite the ongoing controversy, national revenue sharing was apparently not a concern given these numbers. No, man, because they're always going to make sure that they make money. It's crazy. Anyway, let's move on and keep the good news going. Next article is by the Daily Dolphin, and it's Cordray Tankersley's job to lose. Talking about that second cornerback position opposite Howard. So this is their write-up of him. Height, 6'1", 200 pounds. College Clemson, age 24. Second NFL season, both with Dolphins. Third round pick in 2017. Second year, 4-year, $3.2 million rookie contract. 93rd out of 121 Pro Football Focus rank. Stats: started 11 games, had 31 tackles and 7 passes defensed. Notable moments: broke up a Matt Ryan pass that Rashad Jones intercepted with 47 seconds left to clinch a comeback win in Atlanta. Had 6 tackles and 2 passes defense versus Bucks. Straight talk: Tankersley says he's not looking over his shoulder. The Dolphins don't want him to. Tankersley said he considered it a no-brainer that it's my job to lose before Coach Adam Gase said he wanted Tankersley to look at it that way. It's entirely possible that it will become more of a competition if and when Tony Lippett, the 2016 starter, rebounds after tearing his Achilles during the 2017 preseason. More on Lippett in a moment. First, Tankersley. He never had time to catch his breath when making the leap from a big-time college program to the NFL, which is a luxury you'd prefer with cornerbacks. Gase gave a lukewarm review of what he saw last season. It's hard to say. I think he got better. I think there were times where he wishes he could go back and do some things different, but that's the rookie year. Now it's year 2. My next step is to become one of the best corners in the league, Tankersley said. Prospects for 18. Xavier Howard has the other cornerback spot nailed down. The wild card is Lippett, the converted receiver who started 13 games in 2016 and had 4 interceptions. Lippett clearly had a way to go health-wise in the spring. Gase said the approach was to get Lippett feeling as 100% as he possibly can for training camp. Lippett wasn't necessarily pointing toward getting his starting job back. It was too early for that. Right now I'm just taking it one day at a time, Lippett said, just getting better, knocking off the rust. Lippett has gotten advice from ex-Dolphins cornerback Brent Grimes, who overcame the same injury and made the Pro Bowl. I think Lippett's going to be fine. I think he's going to be in there, but I think Tank is going to be that second cornerback. I think he is going to be the starting corner opposite Howard. Okay, so next article is from Pro Football Focus, and it is Pro Football Focus's training camp preview of the Dolphins. So, it starts out with them saying that our pass game supporting cast is going to be tier 3. I have no idea what that means. There's no indication of what that means here. And overall team supporting cast team 4. So, the supporting cast metrics, there it is. Measure performance of players other than the quarterback utilizing Pro Football Focus grades and clustering analysis to group them into tiers from best, tier 1, to worst, tier 4. Passing games, okay, so our overall team supporting cast, according to them, is got the worst rank, and pass game is just right above that. We'll see. The Miami Dolphins training camp will be centered around one thing: the return of quarterback Ryan Tannehill. The former Texas A&M standout and once burgeoning star from 2016 has missed the last 20 games due to a left knee injury. While all signs point to his return to form this season, the team he finds will be much different than the Dolphins of 16. Yeah, it's going to be the best he's ever had. Ever. On all aspects. So, crazy. When Tannehill suits up under center for Miami during training camp, several of his targets will be completely revamped, while his backfield will no longer see the likes of Jay Ajayi, and rather will hold a stark comparison between the two ball carriers' career timelines. Kenyon Drake enters his third season, on the heels of a career year after the team traded Ajayi mid-season a year ago. Opposite Drake will be 13-year pro Frank Gore, the San Francisco 49ers all-time leading rusher who just spent the past 3 seasons in Indianapolis. Gore is seemingly far removed from his best playing days, yet put forth his best season since 2012 a year ago, and his 7th season out of the past 8 years grading at 74.9 or above. Tannehill's defense returns several enticing players like veteran Cam Wake, who even at 36 years young, proved he can still produce with the best of them. Wake brought in 62 quarterback pressures on 365 pass rushes a season ago, recording the league's second highest pass rush productivity among 4-3 defensive ends. While they lost Ndamukong Suh to Los Angeles in free agency, Dolphins fans can rejoice in a pair of former teammates at Ohio State and their linebacking core to potentially anchor their defense for years to come. Jerome Baker was selected in the 3rd round after finishing 2017 with an 81.5 overall grade, while Raekwon McMillan will suit up for the first time with the franchise that drafted him 54th overall in the 2017 NFL Draft. McMillan returns from a torn ACL and in his last action graded out with an 86.3 overall grade, or 19th overall at his position in 2016 at Ohio State. One thing remains a constant, though. This team will be centered around the success of their signal caller, who mans the helm of professional sports' most important position. Behind Tannehill is a cast of unproven or unsuccessful characters in Bryce Petty and Brock Osweiler, so this team's success will certainly be hinged upon Tannehill's health. Which is funny, they don't even mention the dude who's actually going to be his backup, David Fales. But whatever. Aside from Tannehill, other areas of intrigue are popping up as training camp looms. Depth at tight end. Miami holds a lot of depth at tight end after double-dipping in the 2018 NFL Draft and selecting both Mike Gesicki in the 2nd round and Durham Smythe in the 4th round. Gesicki could very well land the starting spot after an impressive spring that showcased what we at Pro Football Focus had known for 2 seasons. Gesicki finished his 4-year playing career at Penn State on the back of 2 incredibly impressive seasons, ranking inside the top 25 in terms of overall grade at his position. He capped his career with an 84.9 overall grade in 2017, the 7th highest grade out of 214 qualifying FBS tight ends. Smythe had a mixed bag of college success. He wasn't targeted all too often in the passing game, seeing just 17 catchable passes thrown his way last season, dropping 2 of those for one of the nation's highest drop rates. His positives were in the run game, where he saw an 80.2 run blocking grade in 16. If he can round out his receiving skills to match his run blocking prowess of 2 seasons ago, Smythe could find the field more often. Gavin Escobar enters the mix after 4 seasons with the Dallas Cowboys and is joined by A.J. Derby, Marquise Gray, and Thomas Duarte in the tight end room. With that experience in the room, if Gesicki can win the starting job, he'll certainly have earned it. So again, I think it's going to be Gesicki, Smythe, Derby, Gray. What to make of the offensive line? The Dolphins' offensive line has been a unit susceptible to criticism for some time, and this offseason, they went and attacked the free agent market to address glaring holes. They signed Josh Sitton and Daniel Kilgore to man this ship, as Sitton has long since been one of the league's premier guards. He has not seen a grade lower than 85.9 in 2012 since his rookie season in 2008, and is on the heels of an 86.0 overall graded season that saw him ranked 5th among guards. I'm just going to pause for a second, because that is a breath of fucking fresh air. Right? As Dolphins fans, we obviously know that our guard play has been subpar to terrible for some time, and that is a serious breath of fresh air. Kilgore enters camp after a down season to end his 49ers career, finishing with a 51.6 overall grade. However, he showed the ability to bounce back from a subpar season in 2016, finishing with a 71.6 overall grade after putting forth a career low 42.8 in 15. With Sitton's signing, he'll be penciled into the starting left guard spot, which leaves Jesse Davis and Ted Larson to fight it out at right guard. Jesse Davis is going to take that spot. Davis saw significant time at right guard, 433 snaps, left guard, 177 snaps, and at both tackle positions, 126 combined. So his versatility might be his tipping point to winning the job. Larson finished the season at left guard from week 10 on, but limped to a 39.5 overall grade. Gore vs. Drake. Running backs on two ends of the spectrum should battle it out for touches in training camp as the veteran Gore joined the Dolphins this offseason to push Drake in the running back room. Gore's on the heels of his best season in the past 5 years, eclipsing the 80.0 overall grade mark for the first time since 2012. Drake is fresh off of a career year, finishing with an identical 80.8 overall grade to Gore's final season tally. They both finished the season in the top 20 among the league's running backs in terms of total missed tackles forced on the ground, as Gore broke 35 tackles on 261 attempts, and Drake recorded 29 missed tackles forced on just 133 attempts. That's crazy. Drake's ascension to the upper echelon at the position can be complete with another strong showing this season. He led qualifying running backs with at least 81 attempts, 53 running backs, in terms of yards after contact per carry, seeing an average of 4.29 yards per carry after contact. With Gore's guidance and his own skill in the backfield battle between the two should be not only interesting but beneficial for their success this season. And Tannehill they trust. For at least this season they do. Tannehill is due a hefty payday and a sizable hit to the Dolphins' salary cap in 2019, $26.6 million, despite restructuring his contract details earlier this offseason. Due to that, 2018 seems in all likelihood like a make-it-or-break-it year for Tannehill and the Dolphins. They've invested in the offensive line and brought in playmakers like Gesicki and Smythe through the draft, while signing wide receivers Danny Amendola and Albert Wilson to give Tannehill weapons to work with. Training camp will go a long way for not only the new cast of characters to blend together, but for Tannehill to get back to playing football, and for ensuring the coaching staff and fans alike that we'll get to see him on Sundays this fall. He's going to be fine. He's going to be electric. He's going to be elite. Getting it. Alright, let's see. I got one final story to get to. One final story that's by Dolphins Wire, and it's Juwan James entering key season for Dolphins. Believe it or not, Juwan James is the longest tenured Dolphins player on their offensive line. James became the old-timer on the unit once the team released center Mike Pouncey in March, but there was a question if James would even be on the Dolphins roster. The Dolphins considered rescinding James's fifth-year option after picking it up last year. Now James will make $9.34 million, which will make him the highest-paid right tackle in the league this season. Now entering a critical season, James will need to stay healthy and produce if he wants to receive a long-term contract from either the Dolphins or from one of the 31 other teams in the league. When speaking to the media in June, James said he isn't thinking about his contract situation. "I'm just trying to get better every day," James said. "I'm just focused on coming back from this injury, being a whole lot better, being 100% and finishing this season." The injury James is talking about is a hamstring injury that limited him to 8 games last year. In fact, James has missed 17 of the Dolphins' previous 48 games because of injury, as he missed 9 games in 2015 because of a dislocated big toe. James believes his injuries are a thing of the past. "I feel like I'm past it," James said. "For the first couple of days, it just felt different being out there. The game felt fast and stuff just from not being out there. Once I started picking up with it, it was fine. I'm just focused on keeping it strong and going out there and finishing." I hope he does stay healthy, and I hope that shit is in the past. I think if he does stay healthy, he'll be fine. He'll continue to get better, and the offensive line's going to be solid, truly solid, for the first time in far too long. Alright, well, everybody, that's going to be it for this one. So, as always, if you like the video, like it, subscribe, share it, comment, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys soon.